Oh yes.
Finally, we're back
at Knott's Berry Farm.
It's so good to be back here. Makes me feel like dancing.
La 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 la, tra la 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 la, la 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 la.
I've been feeling right on the edge there.
Am I sick? Am I better? Am I sick? Am I better?
It's time to take action now. I know the one thing that'll make me feel 100%.
The one thing that'll cure me is a visit to the old West.
What's this? Ooh, heck yeah.
That is awesome, dude. That takes a lot of skill right there. I wish I had a skill.
Dude, look at that. One more ring to go. One more hoop to go.
This is amazing. Whoa!
Look at that.
Whoa! How about that? That's amazing.
Dude, that's awesome. That's Gary.
He performs here at Knott's all the time doing these traditional Native American dances.
He gives a great speech at the end of the performance about Native Americans and
the history of his own family, which their pictures are over there.
And how all humans on this earth are a family and we shouldn't carry hatred in our hearts.
Which is awesome, dude. Always catch the dances at Knott's. They're awesome.
See, check this out. This is pretty rad.
These are all pictures of his own family, including some chiefs there. That's freaking awesome.
That's my favorite part about Knott's, the educational part.
Okay, now I've got to get some sarsaparilla.
I'm still feeling weak and under the weather from the whole week long of being sick. Sarsaparilla is the only cure.
They're looking in the back for some sarsaparilla right now.
Yes.
Oh, yes, finally. Oh, that's a mighty fine sarsaparilla.
That's really all that I came for. Look at Ghost Town today. It looks like a ghost town.
There is basically nobody here. Even the robbers are gone. Gone robbing.
Just like Chris O'Donnell. Gone robbing. Get it? Chris O'Donnell. Never mind.
See, look at here. That's the Lucky Cuss mine shaft, and there's the hoist and the mine engine, and there's a bunch of field trip kids learning about Boot Hill Cemetery.
People are learning.
Ooh, caution. Baby rattlers. Baby rat.
It's the oldest joke in the West.
Every Old West ghost town, every Route 66 gas station seems like, has to have this joke.
It never gets old. Only it does, but then it gets good again.
I love this little area back here, behind the grist mill.
Today it's the glass blowers inside of there.
But this was once, back in Walter Knott's day, the Yuba City Grist Mill.
And it was actually a working mill. They would grind up corn flour or regular flour, whatever kind of flour.
The water wheel in the back used to power this thing. That's insane. All the equipment is still in here.
They could probably still grind flour in here.
The first flour mill in Yuba City back in the gold rush days.
See, like this sign is still left over.
From when they used to grind flour and cornmeal right there.
Let's not forget that when Ghost Town started, this was all a working farm around here, and you really could buy flour and cornmeal, grind it up on that old stone in there.
A friend of mine recently told me a story about how someone was working in there and an old man came in and just grabbed a couple of sacks of flour.
And dude was like, hey, you can't just take this flour, you gotta pay for it, buddy.
Security got involved and it turned out that that old man was Walter Knott.
But instead of getting fired, the guy working inside got a pat on the back. He's just doing his job, making sure nobody steals the flour.
I don't know if that story is 100% true or not, but that's what I was told. And it's amazing.
One of Walter Knott's great-grandsons recently emailed me and sent me this speech that Walter Knott had given at a local college, I think, or maybe a church.
Dude, and all I could say is Walter Knott was definitely a guy who believed very strongly in the American dream,
the American free enterprise system, and he honestly seemed like a really nice guy. You know, you see all those pictures of him and he kind of looks kind of strict and sour, but he seemed like a really cool guy.
Definitely very passionate about American and Old West history.
I mean, the guy built a barrel house, for crying out loud. A barrel house!
Blue were her eyes as the berry
It's saying stuff.
cheeks like the
I think the
dawn
barrel
day.
house is reading a poem to us.
The skipper he stood beside the helm, his pipe was in his mouth,
Okay.
and he watched how the veering flowed blow the smoke, thou west, thou south. And up and spake an old sailor, had sailed to the Spanish main. I pray thee, put into yonder port, for I fear a hurricane.
Is it weird that the Old West Barrel House is reading me a poem about the ocean? Check this out. This is one of those old original Knott's Berry Farm signs.
You can see that old-fashioned ghost town style raised lettering on that old piece of wood telling us what the heck that thing is.
Of course, that sign is completely faded into oblivion.
I wonder if we could find some old pictures of what that sign used to say and maybe convince Knott's to repaint it.
See, one of the big differences between Knott's and Disneyland is Disneyland has a lot of annual pass holders, a lot of people who are very interested in the history, very obsessed with every little detail of the park.
So if things get worn out there or change at all, there's a lot of people to raise a fuss like, hey, you need to fix this, hey!
And that's exactly what Knott's Berry Farm needs. A lot of people are like, oh, Knott's Berry Farm doesn't care about its own history, it lets things fall into... That's not it. It needs you, the people, the normal people like us, to be like, hey, this is really cool, we actually appreciate this. If they know you appreciate something, they preserve it, they hold on to it, they restore it.
If they think nobody cares about it, well, then they put in some new roller coasters.
So what I'm saying is, it's always a good idea to come somewhere like this, and if you see an old sign like that, it's cool to ask about it, or even go to guest services information, be like, hey, we noticed this thing is really old and worn out, it'd be really cool to see that restored, whatever. Respectfully, of course.
Ooh, I love when that somber music plays out here at Boot Hill, and I especially love when there's no one in Boot Hill but me.
It's as quiet as the grave out here, except for the sound of that roller coaster flying over our heads. Silent as the grave.
See here, you can see Sam Andreas's grave has been kind of fixed up.
But since his name is an earthquake pun, this used to shake. The rocks would have like a mini earthquake, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure.
This is the kind of thing they would totally fix up if they thought that anyone cared.
I care not. I care.
This stuff, all this stuff is literally the reason that I come to Knott's Berry Farm. This is the reason I buy an annual pass here.
Not for roller coasters, not even for Snoopy, for this stuff.
Stuff like the mannequin in that old hearse over there that you can't really see.
And stuff like the graveyard gags that don't work anymore. I'm pretty sure there used to be a mug of beer right there, a mug of Frosty Suds. This is actually an ongoing debate that I have with a friend of mine. Is that I swear there used to be, or I've seen pictures of some kind of drink or a bottle or mug or something like that that would drain itself here. Saloon keeper, this one's on me, like he's still drinking from beyond the grave, and other people are like, no, I don't remember ever seeing that, so maybe I'm crazy.
Either way, Phineas, here's a sarsaparilla on me.
He would have wanted it this way. I'm not gonna leave that there, that would be littering, but you get the joke.
See, look at all this stuff. Look at that. You're not gonna see that at Disneyland.
There used to be an American Indian statue out here somewhere too, but I think that's been removed.
But my favorite thing is this old hearse in there. There is a dead guy.
It's just they put this ridiculous fence up here and you can't see him.
Like this board is right at eye level, so it's really hard to see. Wow, every time, that's so loud.
And then of course if you stand up on the fence, you feel like you're gonna get in trouble, but he's in there.
Oh, he's in there. Ugh.
Gotta have long arms to peer down into there, reach your camera down, but he's in there.
So you see those things right there, those boards wrapped up in the wire right there? Do you know what those are? Don't Google it, don't Google it.
What was your guess? Those right there are pipes.
Water had to be moved around in the Old West too, and a lot of times pumped out of mines. But those, oftentimes, were pipes.
Kind of like you make a wooden barrel with all those staves, and then you have the hoops around them. Well, you got all these wooden things here, and then the metal around them to keep them in a circle. The water would go through the middle.
Old-timey water pipe.
Or whiskey pipes. But I feel like they would have used something better for whiskey pipes.
Oh look, see, here's some old wooden water pipes right there. Right here on the old water tower connected to the old water wheel. See, there's a lot of history at Knott's Berry Farm, and you can learn a lot if you know where to look.
Did you know this type of wheel was called an overshot wheel? Because the water goes over the wheel instead of under the wheel? I didn't, but I read the sign, so now I do.
See right there, it was attached to a belt that was attached to this thingy here that turned the dealio inside of Hua.
Now though, they have a lady in there who's making little glass figurines out of hot melted glass and fire though, so that's also pretty cool.
Fire,
that's hot. Get it?
See, now I visited Boot Hill Graveyard and my mind's all on death.
I gotta go peek in on another Knott's Berry Farm favorite of mine.
Time to visit the Undertaker.
Everyone's always taking fun pics in the coffin, and everyone always forgets to look in the window.
Check this out, kids. Oh, scary! Oh, no, he's back to being a regular corpse.
I almost said he was back to life, but he wasn't back to life. He was back to just a different form of death. It's a lot of death in there.
Scary!
Well, the light's getting low, and it's time for me to tip my cap to the catawampus and head out of here. I love this thing. Actually, this is my favorite thing at Knott's Berry Farm.
We're gonna talk more about Cattywampus later.
But for now, it's time to hit the old dusty trail. I'd like to stay a little bit longer, but I cannot. Cannot. Which makes it sound like I can stay a little longer. Which is really, I gotta go.
We gotta leave because we got something really important to do.
So, yesterday, when I was at Frankenson's, Alf cards were not the only thing that I was able to pick up. I actually bought something else right afterwards. I gotta show you guys, but first we've got to go home and then I can show you. Oh, home already. And now I can show you guys what I got yesterday. Check this out. Original 1977, actually 78. I should be nerdy about it. Star Wars cards! Dude, an unopened pack of Star Wars cards. Copyright 1978 on the back. Exciting Star Wars games, paints, puzzles, and other long-playing toys from Kenner. These are the same folks that made the Star Wars action figures. And before we go today, we are opening up these bad boys. Dude, these cards basically came out 40 years ago. That's 40 years. These trading cards and this stick of bubble gum apparently have been waiting to see the light. Here we go. We're opening them up. Oh, look at that. R2-D2 is abducted. I personally was never like a trading card guy when I was growing up. Marvel cards were really popular when they all did like Marvel X-Men and stuff like that. And so I had a few because other kids had them. And then of course I had Anaheim Bullfrogs trading cards. That was our local hockey team for a little while. But I never really was a trading card person because these weren't on the shelves anymore. If these were on the shelves when I was growing up, I might have been more into it. Star Wars! Look at, there's George Lucas and Greedo. He's got a straw in his mouth, probably so he could breathe, but you know, we'll just pretend that's a really long, weird Greedo cigarette, I guess. Don't smoke, kids. Only bad guys like Greedo smoke. Oh, touch up for Chewbacca. Look at that. Inside the Millennium Falcon. Dude, these are sick. Han and the Rebel pilots. These are awesome. I want these in like 8x10 size. Ooh. Bizarre inhabitants of the cantina. You see Hammerhead right there. And then that's it. Oh, wait, what's this? A sticker. There's a sticker in here. And last but not least, a piece of 40-year-old bubble gum. Let's just say this gum was made and packaged in 1977 to be on sale in 78. It's 2017 now. So this is a minimum of 39. Maybe possibly even 40-year-old gum. Okay, more likely 39, but we're gonna round up a little. 40-year-old bubble gum. Ooh, kind of stiff and solid there. Allie, do you think that I should eat this 40-year-old bubble gum?
No.
I'm gonna get a second opinion on this. London, come here, dude. I need you. This bubble gum right here is 40 years old. It was in this pack of Star Wars trading cards. This bubble gum is even more ancient than me. So the question I have is, should I eat it?
Well, if it's 40 years old, it's probably gonna...
So what you're saying is yes. You want some?
No.
It tastes like chalk. Yuck. Ugh. Dude. Ugh. That tasted like I took Necco wafers, which are gross, and some chalk, or just Necco wafers because they already taste like chalk, and just chewed it up. That was disgusting. Hey dude, you want the last piece?
No.
You want a piece of 40-year-old gum? Hey! Bill might want some gum. Dum Dum want gum gum. Mmm. Okay, throw that away. Throw it in the trash. We ate 40-year-old gum. We've done our duty. High five.
You mean you ate it?
Yeah, okay. I ate it, so I've done my duty, so I can go home and you can sleep well. Because it's your bedtime. Good night, buddy. Go home and sleep well. That goes for you too, everybody. I'm gonna go rinse my mouth out now with bleach. See y'all later.
forgot to tell you guys something. I was gonna tell you guys something. Oh well, guess I'll tell you tomorrow.